Hi, this is the extra credit optional graphic organizer assignment for Cask of Amontillado. Since we're not going to be doing the essay, I thought I would leave this here for people who wanted to try it and wanted to try to get some extra credit. You'll get as much points for as much as you do. So if we were going to do an essay, the topic would be right here at the top, the prompt. What is the effect of irony in Edgar Allan Poe's Cask of Amontillado? And so I did a topic sentence. The effect of irony in Edgar Allan Poe's Cask of Amontillado is that it builds suspense for the reader. And so you're going to have three main examples of irony. And we are using these from the Cask irony chart that we did last week. So the first example I did was an example of dramatic irony. So that's the reason. The first reason is saying the type of irony. And then next, I have an example of verbal irony. And then last, you can do whatever type of irony you want to include. For the first example, under evidence is where you put the quote. Okay, so for evidence 2, you'd put the quote that shows verbal irony. And for evidence 3, you do another quote that shows another type of irony. Again, you're going to get these quotes from the Cask irony chart. And then the connection to the thesis is the explanation. It's explaining what is ironic about this quote or about this situation. So for the first example of dramatic irony, it's the quote that said, I introduced it. I put, for example, Poe writes, "Enough," he said. "The cough is a mere nothing. It will not kill me. I shall not die of a cough." "True, true," Montresor replied. And then notice we put the citation. The citation is the author's last name and the page number. Notice how the citation is in parentheses and there's a period after the citation. Also pay attention to the quote. See how the quote is in quotation marks, and the quote is introduced here. It says, "For example," and then Poe writes. And then connection to the thesis is where we explain the irony. Montresor knows that Fortunato will not die of a cough because Montresor is planning his murder. And then you also need to give a sentence that explains how this makes the story suspenseful. This builds suspense for the reader because the reader wants to know how Fortunato will die. All right, so if you want to get extra credit for this, you can include a quote here, and then say another type of irony, another quote here, and then give the explanation. Explain what is ironic in the quote and explain how the irony builds suspense. Then you can put a concluding sentence. And again, I will just give you an extra credit point for each one of these elements that you get correct.